Welcome to the exciting and new podcast. I'm Jason.
I'm Andy.
And I'm Brian.
Last week, my voice went,
Yeah, you had the weird intro last week, and this week you're going to have a different intro of the movie we're doing this week is what, Brian?
You boys better hold on, because I'm going to have to stand on it.
Stroker Race. I take exception with one of the first lyrics in this song.
Why?
I have it in my notes. I know exactly what you're going to say.
Right here. That.
Oh, yeah.
Mean Street 2 feet. He was the nicest guy.
I thought you were going to say when he said the bandit was chasing him. I'm like, so in this movie, the bandit's the cops, and in the last movie, he was the bandit?
He wears a red shirt, too, like the bandit, right?
What are we doing? Stroke Race, right? I don't know if we ever saw that, said that.
Yeah, he said it. It's rated PG, hour and 36 minutes, theatrical release date July 1st, 1983, directed by Hal Needham, it's a repeat director on the podcast.
Yeah, we've done a lot of his movies already. We did Cannonball Run and Smoking the Bandit.
He's very studly.
Yes, so this is he's a third time.
Was he a stock car racer as well, or was he involved in that industry, or is he
I don't
just?
I don't think he was. Not that I know.
Because all his movies are
Wasn't he a stuntman?
Yeah, maybe his everything he does is so focused around cars. Like
his
that's
top
all
four.
he knows.
His top four is Smokey, Cannonball Run 2, Stroke Race, and Megaforce.
Not Cannonball 1. Cannonball. I don't know what Megaforce is. And isn't he the bad guy from like Transformers?
For some reason, I think Megaforce
That's Megatron.
did that have a truck in it?
I don't know that movie, Megaforce.
I don't know Megaforce.
Wasn't that when Hulk Hogan and Macho Man Randy Savage teamed up, or weren't they the Megaforces?
They might have been.
Or
I'm
they
not
the
sure.
Mega Powers? I don't know. Something like that.
He passed in 2013 at age 82 from cancer.
All right. It's funny. This movie felt so... Is the word
Barry
derivative?
Bostwick, we missed this. This was 1982. Story about a rabbit deployment defense unit that is called into action wherever freedom is threatened.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
So it's not about cars. Barry Bostwick. Is that Scarecrow? Scarecrow, Mrs. King? Is
Oh
that
my
who
God.
that is?
I think I've seen that poster.
Barry Bostwick, Michael
It's like
Beck.
a super futuristic.
Yeah, it looks
For
very
1982.
futuristic. Yeah.
Yes.
So it had a bunch of neon.
Exactly.
Super
Yeah, look
futuristic.
at the,
Yeah, I think I've seen that poster before.
Who else was in it besides Barry?
Nice.
there's the poster. It's very futuristic.
Oh my God. It looks like almost like a Tron poster or Star Wars.
Barry
also.
Bostwick, Michael Beck, Persis Kambata.
Oh yeah, this. I'm going to say he, maybe
Edward
she.
Mohair.
I'm not sure. He's great. She's great.
Hal Needham.
This movie felt like
But he did that in 82 as well, so he was busy.
busy guy. This movie felt like they should have just done like Smokey and the Bandit 2 or 3 or whatever they were at this
Burt
point.
said he wasn't going to do 3.
Now, when did Cannonball Run 2 come out? Because I know we did Cannonball.
Remember, yeah.
We did Cannonball Run we did Cannonball Run and Smokey and the Bandit as previous to 1982 movies, right? Neither one of they were both before that. That was what we did in our
Was that
alone time.
Was that the before?
Yeah, because I think Dana did Cannonball Run because we kind of
picked it
forced
because
her into it.
she had never
yeah.
watched it, yeah. And
So this just felt like this could have been like even that music. Like if you don't want to sing Eastbound and Down as soon as that music starts,
So much of the music sounded
very,
like
very similar.
everything in this movie felt like it had been done
almost note for note.
like Smokey and the Bandit or Cannonball Run. We'll just do anher movie called something else, but it's really a sequel to all those
we don't
movies.
have Jackie Gleason, so let's do this. We'll
when
bring
the
in Jim
cops
Nabor.
were standing on the dock and they did the dun dun dun.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of that. There was a lot of that kind of stuff. And that was this craziest turn ever because the car went sideways all the way through that like gazebo thing and right out into the lake.
Was that the one where you said you better hold on to something that floats?
Yes. And that was the in the post-credit sorry.
You better grab something that floats, boss.
Is that all the cops standing around looking at him?
That's when he went through that.
Yeah.
He went through all that,
Like the whole-
tables and
the whole-
stuff, right?
He crashed through everything.
But shit, I don't have it anymore.
Let me give you the description real quick.
My soundbite
confused
you
me.
off.
Yeah.
The title character, a popular NASCAR driver, clashes with the fried chicken mogul that sponsors his racing team. Stroker Ace, a champion NASCAR driver, is standing at the top of his career, but is getting fed up with having to do as he's told. In between rebelling against his sponsor, a fried chicken chain, promotion gimmicks like making him dress up in giant chicken suit. He spends the rest of the movie trying to bed the buxom Pembroke.
What kind of chicken suit was that? That was like, are chickens black and white spotted like that? I've never seen chicken.
I have a chicken that's black and white
would
spotted.
any kind of sport where you're driving, and I don't care what year it is, would allow you to wear that.
Suits.
You know what I mean?
He's wearing the chicken with the feet and
all. You
all.
can't have the seatbelts on right and everything. You know,
it's so funny that part of the description of this, he's clashing with the sponsor that. They actually had to set up before this that his old sponsor was getting rid of him just so he could get this new sponsor. And then he signed the contract that was as big as an encyclopedia.
There was a lot,
without reading it.
There was a lot of pages with nothing on it.
It's all blank pages.
Till the end.
I was really kind of like surprised that the plot of this movie was, if he had just read that contract, none of this would have happened. That was the entire plot of the movie. I was like, as this movie's going along, I'm like, are they just trying to get out of the contract that they just signed like 10 minutes ago?
Pretty much. With taglines like this, Burt's back with car crashing and party crashing as the hassled hunk who drives his car upside down and his woman round the bend. And he's hot on the track and off.
Oh.
I watched this on Amazon Prime. I think did you watch it on Prime too?
I did not. I had to rent it.
I paid $3 for
Apple.
it. Apple.
Yeah.
It's so funny because I tried to get it off Apple and it kept saying, go to your mobile app. I'm like, I want to watch it on my TV, but it was basically for me to pay for it on my mobile app.
Yeah.
I did not understand the things that they were telling me. So I went to Amazon. Amazon said, go to your mobile app. And I'm like, am I not going to be able to get this thing? I'm going to watch it on my phone, but then they put the QR code on there. I scanned the QR code and that did it. But so I watched it on Amazon. Did you watch it with subtitles?
Yeah.
Were your subtitles matched up to the voices?
There was a couple of times where it was off.
Like there were sentences that were just left out of this thing where like guys would be talking and like there was no words coming up. But they also edited it. Like when he called him a putz, it came up as Prince. When he said shit, it said shoot. And there was another one where they were like tapping down on how the language quotes. Yeah, I was like, why are they doing that?
This one starts off. All right, we're going to kick off with Burt Reynolds playing Stroker Ace. We've talked about him a few times now.
I mean, we've done Cannonball Run and Smokey the Bandit and anything else.
His top four has not changed: Boogie Nights, Smokey and the Bandit, Striptease, and Deliverance. Deliverance, which is also another.
I don't think he should
another Ned Beatty flick.
That's a good top four, but Striptease shouldn't be in there. Not that Striptease was.
That was his comeback.
It wasn't a terrible movie,
I think that's why it's in there because it was his comeback.
Like he did better movies that should have been in there, but yeah, that was his comeback because this was the beginning of the end for Mr. Burt Reynolds.
Playing Clyde Torkel was Ned Beatty. We had him in The Toy.
Oh yes, right.
A very sweaty and disheveled.
Did you like the boxers and T-shirt he wore to bed?
Yeah. I gotta make the comment that I watched this movie. This is second movie I watched on my 4K TV, and I don't know if this was in 4K or not, but
probably not.
God damn, man, the teeth in this movie. Loni Anderson, beautiful teeth, beautiful. Burt Reynolds, beautiful teeth. Ned Beatty's almost like every time he was like close up and smiling, I was
amazed at how bad his teeth.
I was like, stop smiling! I'm like, they're so gross. And Jim Nabor's teeth all looked like they were like sideways.
Yeah, like his bottom.
I don't know if that's just the way he talks, but all his teeth are like going like on a 30-degree angle. I was like,
well, didn't Burt Reynolds make a comment about that? About
did he say something about his teeth?
How his mouth, when he closes his mouth, all his teeth, or when he sings, all his teeth are on the one side of his face.
I feel bad for these actors that acted in the years before high-def televisions and now are under the scrutiny of 4K televisions where they're like, I didn't expect it. I didn't expect to have my face so crystal clear on the screen there.
Jim Nabors, he played Lugs, crew chief guy. He died in 2017. 87 he lived to. His top four: Gomer Pyle, USMC, Andy Griffith Show, Stroker Ace, and The Best Little Whorehouse in Texas.
That's right. We did talk about. That's right. We talked about it. Oh, that's Burt Reynolds again.
Burt Reynolds,
a lot of Burt Reynolds. Wow.
He's a four-time.
Burt Reynolds is like
timer.
Like Adrian Barbeau is the patron saint of 82. Burt Reynolds is definitely the patron saint of this year because this is the 4th movie we've done with him this year, right?
Yeah,
it's crazy.
We're only into June.
Did you see in the credits, like Jim Nabors didn't curse during the movie, but in the credits, he cursed?
It's so funny how that happens like that.
Yeah.
It's always funny when they bleep it out in a movie or they don't do it in the movie and then they just let it ride in the credits. They're like, I guess you didn't expect the kids to stick around. And,
playing the villain, Parker Stevenson, Aubrey James. They don't really show why he's the villain.
Was he the villain? Like he was just another racer, and they never set up why he was.
He was Burt wouldn't say his name right through the whole thing.
That was the whole Audrey Meadows thing. I laughed
funny.
at that. I laughed when he was calling him Audrey Meadows.
He messed up too. He said it's Audrey, and then he was like Aubrey. He said.
I think at that time Aubrey was not a very common name. Now we know Aubrey, Aubrey Plaza and stuff like that. But like, I think
even Loni Anderson's name was interesting too. Pembroke Feeney, which Pembroke sounds like a last name.
It does sound like a last name.
And that was the last name of the neighbors on the Ropers.
The Pembrokes, that's right.
The Jeffrey Tamborn family. Yeah. Oh, really? I did not know that. Yeah. Wow. Okay. Yeah, that sounded like a weird name too. And every time he was trying to remember it, I was like, "Yeah, I'm right with you there, Bert. I don't remember it either."
I thought Parker Stevenson looked great.
Oh, he was a very handsome man. Yes,
much more handsomer than like Burt Reynolds looked a little rough in this one.
Burt Reynolds is probably in his 40s here, and Parker Stevenson is maybe not even 30 yet. So
he definitely had some years on him. Loni Anderson's top 4.
Parker Stevenson. We didn't do his top 4.
I didn't do his. I'm sorry.
Do we? I mean, Hardy Boys and
that
I don't
is in
know
there. Hardy
else.
Boys, Nancy
Hardy
Drew
Boys.
Mysteries, Probe, Mistrust, and he was on 28 out of 242 episodes of Baywatch.
Oh, I remember that.
I did not know that.
I didn't watch.
He
Baywatch.
was also in Kirstie Alley for a while, right? They were married for
I believe so.
some
Yes,
time.
yeah.
Back when being married to Kirstie Alley was a good thing.
And then
Lonnie being married to him now would suck. Like she's been dead for a couple of years. That would be
Lonnie's
terrible.
top 4: WKRP, Stroker Ace, A Night at the Roxbury, and 3 Ninjas, High Noon at Mega Mountain.
Now, Night at the Roxbury, I think she's someone's mom in that. She's either Chris Kattan or Will Ferrell's mom.
Yeah.
3 Ninjas. I have seen all of those shitty movies because my boys love those movies, and those are fucking awful. But they're also aimed at like 8-year-olds. So
I've never even heard of 3 Ninjas.
Oh yeah, they're terrible. It's like 3 like Joker kids in there. I think their grandfather's Japanese, so of course that means he has to teach them like it's Mr. Miyagi all over again. It's terrible.
My favorite character in this one was John Biner playing Doc Seagley.
John Biner, man, I love him. He's still alive, right?
Yeah, he's still alive. Yes.
Loni Anderson up till this point. Oh, Parker Stevenson's still alive too, but everybody else was dead. Yeah.
Now there's somebody else that's still alive.
Okay,
I'm going to mention her next.
Okay.
But John Biner played Doc Seagley, his childhood friend. His top 4: The Black Cauldron, Transylvania 65000.
Okay, yeah.
Stroker Ace, and The Ant and the Aardvark, which I think is animated.
Oh, it is because he was in a lot of the Pink Panther movies. Yep. So I think
wasn't he in like Laughing?
Oh, Bizarre. Which started Super Dave Osborne came from Bizarre. That was like a Canadian, like not Saturday Night Live, but a variety show type thing. And yeah, he started.
I had to have seen it, but
that was on Showtime in the 80s. Yeah, that was they
were busy on HBO.
Yeah,
true. But I think I remember John Biner from doing funny.
John Biner was on a lot. He did a lot of things.
Oh, okay.
I definitely remember him Bizarre. Like I love that show because that was my one window into like adult humor because they said the F word and there were boobies every once in a while and stuff like that. Oh yeah.
Up next, she played Girl with Lugs. Do you want to guess who it is yet?
Girl with Lugs. Well, I got to tell you, I don't know which girl that was.
I know.
There were so many ugly women on the podium and stuff like that.
I know.
Every time
these women,
Michelle was watching them. She's like, ugh. Like every time like Burt is walking by all the girls on the podium and they're kissing and hugging. And
they're the ones that would sleep with the producer.
Yeah. Oh my God, they're all.
What do you got there?
Well, I'm not one of the drivers. I'm just a mechanic.
I like mechanics.
You don't know who she's talking to?
Not Elvira. Elvira is in this. Yes.
Cassandra Peterson.
As Elvira. Like, I was like, is she playing Elvira or is she not Elvira?
She was Cassandra Peterson was her name in the credits.
But that's her real name.
Yes.
Yeah.
And she played Girl with Lugs.
But she
didn't play Elvira.
Dressed as Elvira.
Yeah.
She had the eye makeup and the black wig and everything like that.
Because he did the double take when he looked at her like, oh.
Her top four.
That was
is,
so
She
weird.
looked really hot there.
She was
too.
at her.
I
top
really
of her
like
game
that
there.
movie she did too, Elvira, Mistress of the Dark. I thought that was a fun movie.
I was always a fan of hers back in the 80s and stuff like that. It was fun when she like introduced the movies on
Elvira's movie Macabre.
Yeah. Oh, good. I love that stuff.
And Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
yes.
And
Yes.
Elvira's Haunted Hills. And then up next, you already played his soundbite. He played Arnold, Bubba Smith.
Bubba Smith.
Arnold, just like Different Strokes.
Yep. He died at 2011. He was only 66. Complications from phentermine overdose. Phentermine.
Is that like
I don't know what it is.
I think he died from being 6'8" or something like that. Because those big
That
guys
giant
usually
disease
die
or something
young.
like that.
Yeah.
And
But,
his
I mean,
top,
6'6",
his
I guess
top
not that
four is
young.
full of police academies.
Oh,
We
of
got
course.
Police Academy 6, City Under Siege, Police Academy 5, Assignment Miami Beach, and Police Academy 4, Citizens on Patrol.
Now, as much as I love
Four
Bubba,
with Citizens on Patrol?
that's the David
Damn.
Spade one, right?
Yeah.
As much as I love the Police Academy movies and Bubba Smith in them, I think of him in, first of all, the Blue Thunder TV show, because we've talked about that already. And I also always remember Bubba Smith as a child. I was like 10 or 12. He was in those Miller Lite commercials when like everybody was in the Miller Lite commercials. I remember there was a whole table of them voting on who was going to be like the Miller Lite spokesman of the year or whatever. And it was all the guys arguing over it. And Bubba Smith just with his gigantic hands had a bunch of ballots. And he's like, winner here is Bubba Smith. And he just dumps all his ballots in the hat. I was like, I didn't even know who Bubba Smith was at that point. My dad probably told me at that time, like he's a retired football player, but that's what I think of when I think of Bubba Smith. Although I know
I
from
think of
all
him
the
on
Police Academy movies.
a couple
for sure.
episodes of Married with Children as well.
Oh, is that when like Al was went back to play football
Yeah.
and stuff like that? I'm sure Bubba Smith tackled him and probably a big fake ass looking dummy went flying in the air.
Warren Stevens played Jim Caddy.
Oh, that was their first caddy or Cody?
It's Caddy, and Stroker kept saying Cody.
Yeah, like 7 times. It was not funny after the second
No, it
time.
wasn't. He died-
Every time they went back to that, I'm like, he had the same cigar the whole time. I don't think he ever lit it. He was chomping on that one
it was
cigar
one
the
of
whole
those,
time.
like Dice does with his cigarette.
Or I was going to say, George Burns was like that. George Burns always just had the cigar, but
he
never
would smoke
smoked
it, but he wouldn't smoke it on stage.
on stage. Yeah.
He died in 2012 from chronic lung disease, 92.
So maybe we did smoke him.
His
Smoked
top,
him off stage.
His top 4 was
But
Forbidden
he was
Planet,
92.
Forbidden Planet, The Barefoot Contessa, Star Trek, the original series. He played Rohan, season 2, episode 22.
Oh, good old Rohan. I'm sure Anthony knows that, right? Anthony's
Probably.
like, come on, Andy, you know that episode? Like, I don't
And
know that
Return to
episode.
Peyton Place,
Peyton Place.
What year did he die?
2012.
That's pretty good for a guy that smoked. 92.
Yeah.
No problem with that.
Also, I put a list of race car drivers that were in this.
I knew a lot of them.
I knew none of them.
One died in 200001
Yeah,
from
Dale
an auto
Earnhardt.
race crash.
Dale
in
Earnhardt.
Daytona.
Yeah, I remember that.
He was 49. That was February 18th, 2001. But also in the race car drivers, Harry Gant, Terry Labonte, Benny Parsons, Kyle Petty, Tim Richmond, Ricky Rudd, Richard Petty, Cale Yarborough, and Neil Bonnet.
You want to know how ignorant I am to like NASCAR? Like, I didn't know who Dale Earnhardt was till he died. Like, I remember that being a big deal and everybody was talking about it. I'm like, who's that? Like, that's
one of my
those
notes.
Yeah. I
What? Who's Dale Earnhardt?
After watching all these stock car movies through the 80s, like I knew nothing
Yeah,
about
I-
stock car till Dale Earnhardt died.
I didn't really ever, I've never watched a race and I never will, but like even the guys that were in this movie, we were talking about this morning and Jason's like, oh yeah, he was doing the thing. I'm like, oh, that was I don't know.
I knew
these guys
Kyle
look like.
Petty, Richard Petty, and Terry Labonte.
I know those names,
Yeah.
but I don't know what they would look like. I mean,
Dale Earnhardt had that big mustache. That's how I know.
I mean, like
him.
football
He was
players are the
pushing
same
the
way.
cart.
When you're wearing a helmet the entire time, I'm not going to know who you are. I'm sorry, but yeah,
That's all I had for the cast. Did anybody else have anything for the cast or no?
I don't think I saw any. There were no sneaky people.
What did
every
Burt
once in a
Reynolds
while
turn down to do this movie, Andy?
Oh yeah, so Burt Reynolds was offered the role that Jack Nicholson played in Terms of Endearment, that Jack Nicholson would go on to win an Oscar for. Now, I've never actually seen Terms of Endearment, so I don't know the role that was, but I know that's the one with the girls. Is that Holly Hunter? And someone dies and whatever. Who cares? But Burt Reynolds was offered that role, and James L. Brooks directed that, and then Hal gave Burt the script for Stroke Race, and he said, I owe more to Hal than I do to Jim. And so he did Stroke Race instead. Now, that's not saying
it's messed up, though, because
he would have won an Oscar for that. There's no saying he would have won an Oscar.
I read a little more into that, and they were like, Hal could have waited. He didn't need to do that movie
right away.
Like,
why did you have to rush that?
They didn't have to do that movie
especially if he was doing Megaforce the week before or whatever. Megaforce?
Megaforce, yeah. Yeah, but that was that's crazy. What could have been?
In this movie looked rushed.
Jack Nicholson wouldn't have been in this role, so it wasn't.
No. There was no quid pro quo in this. Squid crow what?
Lonnie and Burt, they met on Merv Griffin's show in 1981. They didn't start dating until 82.
Oh, I assume they met on the set of this movie.
They started dating in 82, and they were married from 88 to 94, I believe.
Wow.
They got divorced
so
in 94.
They were dating when this movie was being filmed and stuff like that.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. I assume they met on the making
Merv
of this
Griffin's
movie.
show is where they met, yeah.
Merv Griffin, the elevator strangler? Yes. Strangler? Elevator murderer?
Killer.
Elevator killer, sorry. Oh my God. We've done so many movies now that they're all intersecting.
Let's hear some of your notes, kids. Come on, talk to me.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
I have a note about the race car that from the 80s. They look like family sedans.
Yeah, well, they were all like they were all like Monte Carlos and stuff. I guess they still are, but they all had those.
There was like the
big,
Chevys,
those
the
big
Fords,
trunks and stuff like that.
And the spoiler coming up the back.
I know
of it.
stock car is supposed to be a stock regular car.
There's regulations. It has to meet certain. It can only be so high in certain
and
areas.
I am so ignorant when it comes to all this car racing and stuff like that. At the end, when he's in like last place or whatever, because he's just not even trying, and now he's all of a sudden he's like, you know what? I'm going to win this race. And he's like, you see him like step on the gas, step on the clutch, switching to another gear, and he starts driving. I'm like, well, why don't the other guys do that? Like, if the only purpose of this is drive faster than the other guys, then drive faster than the other guys. If there is no skill, and I think there is a skill to this, because I couldn't drive 200 miles an hour around a curve, but
that close to other cars.
Yeah, I totally recognize that there is a skill to this, but all he does at one point is just drive faster than everybody else on a straightaway. I'm like, why isn't everybody else just driving faster? I don't understand it. I certainly don't get NASCAR. I would never want to sit there and watch 500 miles of guys racing. And what's the track? 2.5 miles. So that's like
that
200.
Depends. Some tracks are only half a mile.
Oh, but the Charlotte one, I guess they were talking about at the end, like 2.5 miles. I'm like, so you're watching these guys just go around 200 times? Fuck you, man. That sounds terrible. That sounds like a waste of a day.
This is what the producer said about NASCAR. Racing world makes you feel like you're 12 years old again in a very nice kind of a way. So it brought him back to like the childhood. That's
I
what
guess.
he said. So,
I was not raised on cars. My dad didn't know anything about cars.
That's down south. That's
either.
more of a down south. North Carolina.
It's true. That's where all the tracks are, other than Pocono.
And that's where all the bootlegging was going, and that's where it started because of bootlegging.
The Pocono house is right by Pocono.
Yeah, I had to drive by it the other day, and every time I drive by it, I'm like, thank God there's no race going on. I've never been to I've been
to Pocono.
Have you been?
And I was been on the infield. We had a motorhome and everything, so we stood on top of the motorhome as they were going around. It was,
our mutual friend Brian, not you, goes to the Dover one, the Dover Raceway for a NASCAR race.
Oh, that's
every
true,
year with
yeah.
the I don't know, one of our friends.
I've done also where you sit in the car with the driver.
Oh, the experience.
While they drive you around the track now. See, that would be fun. I would be down for that.
And you get up to about 150, 160 miles an hour.
I would not be down for that.
Andy, you're in the
you're
in the passenger seat, and they're on that wall. That wall is right there, dude.
It's done
right
that?
there. Yeah, that's so cool.
Who
man.
drove you?
Somebody that one of the locals that works. At
Oh,
the
it
track
wasn't like
there,
it wasn't like a guy, like a racer. It wasn't
he
a
was
name.
a racer.
It
But
wasn't a name.
Yeah,
Okay. I didn't know they offered that. That actually sounds fun, and I would never do it.
They do it at like some smaller tracks. So like if you did it at Dover, it wouldn't be as fast, obviously.
Yep.
So,
Oh, I don't know. Is Dover small?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's only a mile.
I've driven by that a couple times, and
I've been to the casino there.
I've been to that track as well. I saw a race there.
Is the Pocono one? What's that one? Is that a mile? Is that 2 miles?
Pocono is a little over 2 miles, I believe.
Is it
Or
really?
about 2
Wow.
miles, yeah.
Wow, man. All this stuff is like so
and it's
foreign
a triangle.
to me. Is it really?
It's a triangle. It's only got 3 turns.
Oh.
Is that And that's part of like the that's under the same rules and stuff like that. Wow, that's crazy. That's like batting in Fenway and then batting in Yankee Stadium. The fucking fences are all different and shit like that, man.
Yeah. I don't know. So I watched NASCAR off and on as a kid and everything, but not anymore.
It is so not my thing at all. Like I said, my dad was not into any of that shit, so I didn't grow up with it in my house.
After Dale Earnhardt died and guy I worked with got into it. But then I bought the NASCAR game on PlayStation 2 and me and Brady played that game for 1,000 hours.
I'm a huge fan of racing games. Like I love like Gran Torino and Pit Stop back in the old days.
What about
Pole Patrol,
Mario Kart?
Mario Kart, of course. That's the most realistic of all of them. I love all that
Pole
stuff.
position.
But pole position. That's I was thinking post position, but yeah.
How about Super Rally was one. Outrun was one where you sat in. You sat in the car.
Oh, I love those ones. Yeah.
Then they had the motorcycle ones. There was the Harley Davidson motorcycle one.
That's all.
Some
great,
of the Star Wars ones you can get in the ship. You were in the ship.
Now we're in the Star Wars. Yes, I love that stuff.
That's fun stuff. Man.
The NASCAR game, I don't think I ever finished a race. I only ever would set up crashes.
I had like Gran Turismo on
Yeah.
PlayStation 2, and the best thing was like upgrading your car and getting the bigger engine and the tires.
Gran Turismo was a fun one.
Oh
yeah.
my god, it was so much fun.
And then you got Grand Theft Auto just to be a thug. You know?
Oh, yeah.
I think that's going down a different path.
So exactly. That's not NASCAR.
That's not how fast you go. That's how fast you can kill someone.
I would do the loop on the beach where I'd drive along the beach killing everyone. Then I'd go up on the boardwalk and kill everyone.
Don't the cops come after you in those
Oh,
games?
yeah,
Like,
yeah. Because then you get 4 stars and then or 5 stars and then you have to ditch them.
I've never played
And then you have
I've never
the
played a Grand
helicopters
Theft Auto
coming
game.
after you and everything. Yeah.
The guys on the sides of the trucks.
I never played a Grand Theft Auto game. I played the Simpsons version of it. I forget now what it was called, but same concept where you're just driving cars around Springfield and running people over and the cops are coming
to do,
after you and shit like that. Yeah. Damn, what
This
that
was the 5th action car stunt comedy from the team of Hal and Burt.
So Cannonball 1 and 2 and Smokey and the Bandit 1 and 2?
No. Smokey and the Bandit, 77. Cannonball Run, 81. Hooper, 78.
Oh, Hooper.
Smokey and the Bandit 2, 1980.
Hooper's the one with as a stunt man, right?
And you know what?
Yeah.
I think when we were talking about Stroker Ace, I was thinking of Hooper because I think I have fond memories
exactly.
of that.
I was
like, oh, I remember
head
that
through
one.
a jukebox.
Are you sure you weren't thinking of Gator?
Gator. I might have been thinking of both of them. But when I sat
Gator's
down and
bitches
watched
better
this
wear
movie,
Jimmys.
Do you remember Gator? That was
That was a Burt Reynolds one, right? Yeah.
when I sat down and started watching this movie, I was like, man, I thought there was like stunt cars and stuff like that.
I watched this recently during the pandemic.
Oh,
with
did
my
you really?
nephew,
Oh, okay.
Because my nephew's in the NASCAR, and I was like, I got some cool movies because he showed me some movies that he liked and everything, cars that he liked, and
Like
everything.
Talladega Nights.
Yep, that's one of them.
I'd rather watch.
I watched that in the last 2 weeks.
I'd rather watch Talladega Nights than Stroke Race.
So we watched Cannonball Run 2. I watched with him, and then I was like Stroke Race, and so he was getting in, Smoking the Bandit.
And you watched Cannonball Run with him and said, I'm doing a podcast on this tomorrow. I'm like, it's cool,
He
man. It's
wanted-
cool. Yeah.
He said he wanted to do the podcast sometime.
How old is he?
He's he's going to be 13.
Yeah, that's PG. We could do a PG-13 podcast.
Yeah, you can drink.
I'll just I can only say fuck once and I can't make it a sexual fuck, right? For a PG-13.
We have to keep our pants on.
I can't say, Brian, I'm going to, I can't say, Brian, I want to fuck you, but I can say, Brian, I'm going to fuck you up. That's okay.
Yeah, that's I'll allow it.
Oh, wow. That's PG-13 right there. That's good stuff. That's good family fun right there.
They were at other tracks they were at, because you mentioned Charlotte. They were at Atlanta Motor Speedway.
And they were definitely at Talladega
They
also
were at
at one point.
Daytona,
Yeah.
Charlotte,
Daytona, yep.
Darlington, and Talladega in Alabama. That's the biggest track.
Yeah, I
That's
think
2.5
did
miles.
they start with that one?
That Talladega and Talladega's 2.6 miles, I believe.
Okay.
They started in
And
Alabama.
Daytona's
you're right, yeah.
2.5.
Okay.
2.5
All right.
miles. So yeah, that's crazy.
One of my notes is when Aubrey who crashes to try and win the race. He slammed into
Yeah.
the other car.
Was that the
To
first
go
time where he
into
actually won, or
Burt.
when Burt crashed and flipped over and won?
No,
this was the other
This
one,
was in
right?
the
Yeah.
beginning.
In the
yeah.
beginning, where he crashed. Oh, when everybody crashed. Yeah.
Same old shit, Stroker. When he was talking to the girls, remember? He's like, "Hey, how you doing?" He's like, It's like, you don't remember me, do you? You said you were going out shopping. You were going to come back.
Those women were so ugly, like the ones on the podium, and the one kept showing up. She was in Burt's room at one point, and then when Loni Anderson came with the plans
and
or whatever.
Said, if you're here for any of that, she's like, he's.
I was like, these are the best chicks they can get for this. Burt Reynolds is getting like.
I mean, maybe Loni was like,
women.
maybe Loni was like, you're not getting anything hot.
I could see that. If she was, if
she
had
picked
that kind
the
of
women.
Yeah. Burt was like, can we start at the other end of the line, please? Why are we at the bottom end?
I like when Clyde asked Burt, he said, you went to high school? And Burt's answer was 1 year.
1 year. That's why he couldn't read a contract, I guess.
That leads me into, like, I thought I was going to not like this movie going in. I thought in the beginning, I was like, he's going to be like too cocky, kind of. I wasn't ready.
You had never seen this movie before?
I definitely saw it when I was younger, but I don't remember a lot of it. But then he's so stupid that he really grew on me by how stupid him and Lugs are. I right in the beginning, he made comments like that, and I was just like, he is not trying to be cool. He's just an idiot.
And tell me you didn't fall in love with Lug's voice.
Oh, he's a wonderful singer.
Tell me he didn't sound great. Lug's had a great voice, I would think, I like when he pulled up to that one chicken place and there was like cheerleaders and they were like, Stroker, rah, rah, rah.
There were like 4 people there because he was like, there's going to be like 1,000 people. Then there's like 4.
When he turned around, he was just like, his face was
Why at the beginning did he pull up with a car that only had 3 wheels? They didn't explain
that
at
story,
all.
Yeah.
He just drove all that way, evading the cops.
It would have been a good story to tell too, because Lug's hanging out the car
to balance it out. I don't even know if that works. Does that work if you have all that weight on that one side?
He would have to have a lot of weight.
I don't think it's scientifically.
Jim Nabor's a big guy.
He wasn't that much, though. I don't think he had that much weight on him.
One of the things that annoyed me in this movie was the obvious stock footage of actual NASCAR races and crowds, because every once in a while they, crystal clear picture, pan to the crowd and it's all grainy looking, and then the race was all grainy looking, and I'm like, I get it, man. The budget's not there for you to film at a NASCAR stadium, but this looks shit.
I have 2 notes about that. One is so very white.
There were Confederate flags for sure. At one point, a lot of Confederate flags.
And the other one is during the last race where the 33 car magically became the 77 car, which wrecked, and then the 77 car magically showed up in the last lap.
The car the car Audrey Meadows hits goes from a skull car to a completely different color as it crashes.
That's the 30.
It went from a white. It went from
33
a white
to the 77.
That was the paint scheme. It had a special paint scheme when it got hit.
as it was going
change numbers.
It ripped the paint off there, and the numbers were underneath. It was like
this was.
It was like when
novel.
Johnny Dangerously was escaping from prison. He kept pulling the shelf paper off the car.
It's based on a novel. 12 years earlier in 1971, Stand on It by William Neely and Robert K. Autumn.
Reading a book about car racing. I can't imagine.
I want to get this book, and I think we should read it for Patreon.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Oh, like we'll do it. We'll act it out.
We'll read it.
Oh,
I mean, I don't know.
Each be
this
characters.
is a great idea. I love this. This is so good. I have to be sober to read though, so that won't be fun. But
can you smoke?
Well, I was going to say, well, you can do whatever you want.
So I was like, can you smoke and be okay to read?
Jason, you've been out with me in public. Can I smoke and do anything?
No.
I think smoking will be better than edible for you.
Yeah, no edible.
Burt would later play another race car driver in
Stroker
Driven.
Ace was riding down the road, his hair billowing in the wind. Lugs was riding shotgun with him. This book just writes itself. I'm in.
But can you tell me who he starred with in Driven 2001?
Wait, who?
Burt Reynolds did another car racing movie in 2001 called Driven. It was made and released about 18 years after this movie. In that movie, Reynolds plays a race car driver who's retired and acts as a racing mentor to
Parker Stevenson.
I don't know.
Sylvester Stallone.
What? Burt Reynolds acts as a mentor to Sylvester Stallone. Aren't they the same age?
In Driven.
I don't know that movie.
I think Burt was 82 when he died a few years ago, and Sly's like 72 or something like that, maybe, I think.
Burt Reynolds acting as a mentor to
Sylvester
Stallone doesn't seem there's much of an age gap there.
75.
So Stallone in 2001 was a driver. I mean, he would have already been like 50 something.
But I mean,
then.
he was already an old boxer too. So
Yeah, that's true. He knows how to take a punch. Which I might add, all those guys in that bar fight, man. Have you ever been punched in the face?
once.
I got punched in the face once too.
Like that is not something you bounce right back from. Like these guys,
I left the fight after I got punched in the face.
These guys like get
the fight
punched
ended in their mind too. I got one hit in too, but it wasn't to the face. It was like the neck, like kind of like.
I mean, I've been punched multiple times in the face, and every time I do, it's not something I want to like engage in again. Usually, I get punched in the face.
People get excited. They're like bar fight. They turned around. They were like, yeah.
Oh yeah, and the one guy punched his own friend. He's
Yeah.
like bar fight. Yeah, boom. I've gotten punched in the face, and every single time it ends in me in tears. So I don't know why anybody would want one, and I don't know why any guy gets punched in the face and then just is like, and now I'm going to punch you back.
Yeah.
Especially with no gloves and stuff like that. Oh my God. These
Makes
guys
no
are
sense.
super cool, man. Although it was fun that Burt got like all banged up and thrown into the women's room and stuff like that. That was fun. I like that Burt was actually kind of like not cool enough in this movie. He was always on the wrong end of things.
Grow on him.
Yeah.
Like that's how he grew on me. He was so uncool. Like when he tried to get the girl from Aubrey, and then as he was leaving, he bumped his knee, and as he's walking, he ends up on the floor
collapses.
crawling out.
This didn't get it didn't air. It wasn't screened in Britain for some
Again,
reason. Yeah.
we've had another movie. I don't remember what it was that didn't have Britain. I guess like they're not big. It was probably Cannonball.
I like when he called what do you call him, the Cartier of Caca.
Oh, because he made the jewelry out of
Jewelry.
shit. Yeah.
I liked how Ned Beatty almost was a rapist.
He was almost a rapist. Yeah, if Loni Anderson wasn't like
Ned was closer than almost. I think
She did
Yeah.
something to him to stop him.
Oh, she
What'd
kicked
she
him in the
do? Yeah,
balls.
she
That's
kicked
right.
him in the
She gave him the
balls, yeah.
scrotum.
Oh, in the scrotum, not the balls.
What's the scrotum?
I'm not sure. They never explained it in the movie.
But Burt Reynolds was a hair away from being a rapist, which actually was my. Not that this is like in condoning his behavior at all, but the fact that every time he like took a piece of clothing off her, he's like, "Okay, I'm taking your shirt off because you don't want to sleep with the shirt on," and he'd walk away, and then she's just lying on the bed, and then like 2 seconds later, he just like poke his head back and say, "So, I noticed you're wearing your brassiere." And that will
cut off the circulation of your head.
I read an article.
He kept coming back into the room, and
You can't read, Bert. You did not read an article.
and then at the end, yeah, right, he only went to 1 year of high school, and then at one point he just looks at the camera and gives the like,
He does the fourth wall look.
you know, I'm fucking her right now, right? And then
it's almost like he's like, you're in on this with me kind of thing.
You are complicit in this rape that's about to happen. And then he says the next morning that he didn't do anything.
Yeah,
to her.
and then when he says he didn't, she was just like, "You are so sweet."
And
And it's
she's
just like,
she's
"Thank you for
bawling her
not
eyes
raping
out.
me."
She's bawling her eyes out too.
Thank you for.
Lugs
I
comes
woke up
over.
in my underwear
You're
though.
the best guy in the world. Thanks.
When Lugs comes over and she's bawling her eyes out, and then he goes and just punches
Oh,
him.
right, because stroke.
Don't get the story. Don't get the story or anything, right?
That was great. And then Stroker's still trying to make the phone call. The phone's upside down.
He's
The
like,
phone
huh?
is like, what? Yeah, that was almost a rape.
Oh,
Thank God it didn't happen.
It was very close to.
There were two of them in this movie.
Well,
Two almost
Ned
rapes.
Beatty had no chance. She was
True.
getting away from Ned Beatty, but she was passed out, lying like a corpse in front of Burt Reynolds after that half a glass of champagne. I don't know if this was before we started the movie. Loni Anderson was 38 at this point, so she's a 38-year-old virgin at this
Her
point.
body on that angle looked incredible.
Well, they had the boob camera there where
that
they
was set up
showed
perfectly.
They showed it from below her going up, so everything.
She
looked
must have had a giant scar running up her body.
We were like under her shoulder
Avoided
almost.
it.
We were kind of like under her shoulder almost.
Yeah,
like
they
looking
were
out
like,
from under.
look what Bert's passing up here.
Yeah.
Like, no, do it.
Like, how cool is Burt Reynolds that he's not raping this woman right now? That's what they're putting on us.
Oh, yeah.
There's only one thing cooler in this movie. And that's when Jerry Reed comes out from the back after doing a big line of cocaine. And you know he did a giant rail of cocaine back there.
He looked rough in that
Didn't he?
shot.
Oh,
Yeah.
man. He was partying.
Oh, yeah.
As he
He
kind
was
of
definitely
pushed in through the back of the set, just like, what's going on here, Burt?
It made fun of Burt being in a chicken outfit. Walked off.
That's the best part of the movie. Jerry Reed's camo.
There was a lot of like post-race celebrations in this movie where they didn't have the budget, I guess, to show the actual race. Just be like, now they're in Talladega, and it's just like them in the
start
circle.
Your engines, and they're like, this is the final lap.
A lot of that. In the hotel where Parker Stevenson and his buddy are racing down the hallway
with Dale Earnhardt.
Was Dale Earnhardt one of those guys? Okay.
Yeah.
Was Dale Earnhardt pushing him?
Yeah.
Then why did he tap out? Why did he allow Burt Reynolds to just come in and?
Oh no,
he was on the other one.
The other one.
Oh, he's on the other guy.
I'm
Okay.
sorry. Yeah.
So why did the other guy allow Burt Reynolds to just come in and be like?
He's probably like Haynes
100%.
Aubrey James too.
Oh, maybe.
And
Maybe
in the
you're right.
movie, he's a race car driver too, so it's like they're all kindred spirits.
Okay, so it's just like another race car driver coming in. I thought they were all boys, and now some stranger just comes. He's like,
Yeah, I think
I'll push your friend down the hallway now. And that was great in the credits where Burt just came in with the vacuum. Like, I'm just cleaning up here. I'll tell you, man, the closing credits to Burt Reynolds movie is sometimes the highlight of the movie because it's been happening for a long time.
Another Hal Needham thing with and they have the credits going with all the bloopers, basically. You know,
why was there a referee at the bar where there was the bar fight? Because all of a sudden a referee just jumped in.
Maybe it came from like softball or something like that.
All of a sudden a guy in a referee uniform starts jumping in, trying to break up the fight.
Maybe he was like coach. He was doing a basketball intramural league or something. He was reffing.
I think you're trying to make this work.
I'm trying to make it
Why did one of the pit crews have a monkey?
That I have no idea. Like
No
I said,
explanation to that. All of a sudden, there's
I have a problem with the damn chicken outfit too. It just bothers me.
Oh my god!
I'm a race car driver. I ain't no goddamn chicken.
And
That's true.
The Amazon subtitles would have said "God dang chicken" there because they always were editing.
I got one other soundbite here.
I like to kid and joke a lot. The girls seem to like it. What do they know?
I laughed out loud at that for some reason. I just laughed out loud.
There was that one scene where when Bert's getting into the back seat of the car, Lugs is driving, Lonnie's in the front seat, and he's going to get in the back seat of the car, and his people are walking by him on the street, and they're like, "Would you look at this? Must be some kind of cult." And then when
because Burt can't drive the car because he's got the chicken costume.
And how about when Lonnie mentions that how her sister died?
Oh, and he thought it was a joke, and it wasn't a joke because he had joked about that, right? He said like,
she said, "Where's Lugs?" And he was like, "He's dead."
Oh yeah, my sister died too. Oh, you joking? No, it was a while ago. When Burt is like in the car that's like the water tank thing, but there was no water tank where you hit the thing and the car just spun over on its top. That's where Doc first showed up again. Doc showed up again at that point. His hairpiece was holding up nice to that gravity. He kept flopping upside down. I'm like, that rug is going to come off.
That was a crazy contraption, wasn't it?
Was that safe?
It did not seem safe at all.
Because he didn't seem to care. The ball hit it. He's like, guess I'm going spinning 360 right now.
He said, "Lugs, about your word, it ain't worth shit."
There was an O.J. Simpson reference.
I have that right there. I was just about to say it.
I did not pick up on that. What was the OJ reference?
They just mentioned it.
Yeah, he was talking about like good things, like winners and stuff, and he mentioned OJ, and then he got cut off.
Which is weird because at that point OJ might have been out of the NFL, like 82, like or 83. Like I can't imagine OJ was even playing anymore. But if he wasn't any good.
Yeah.
At that point, you should be mentioning like Walter Payton or something.
One of my other quotes I like, Ned Beatty, was when he said, "I don't pay you to think, Alfred Einstein."
Alfred Einstein.
That was one of the ones that didn't have any
no
captions.
Closed captions. A lot of that, where people would just talk and nothing would pop up below.
Yeah.
Him firing Burt Reynolds and then going to the press box and firing Burt Reynolds.
Why would you do that if he's in second place?
But does that even matter? Like, is that how you fire?
Why did he feel the need to do that? Like there was he gained nothing from that. Only Stroker Ace.
He said that at one point. He's like, "I fire you, you win. You lose, you win. But if you win, I win." So why did he fire him? Like he plotted the whole thing out for all of us.
That's a huge plot hole.
Went against everything. All of a sudden, he was just like, "I'm firing him right now."
I guess can't fire him if he's in second place.
No,
you can't.
I guess because Doc's dad said, "I'm just the messenger."
I don't know about this acting.
That was so bad and just but John Byner.
Now, was
played
that the
great,
same
man.
guy? Was that dad the same guy?
Yeah, in the
so it's
beginning.
like 40 years later, and he's like the
He
same.
hasn't aged.
He's aged very well.
Yeah.
For a guy that was like
Yeah,
a bootlegger
I like-
in Kentucky or where the hell they were.
I like the young Burt when he was fixing his hair during the car
Oh
chase.
my god!
he
And
was-
finally,
he
the
was
dad
racing, you know.
dad was like, "That's my boy right there, fixing his hair."
I also
It
think
wasn't his boy, but
young Doc was the little boy from Close Encounters.
was it?
Yeah,
Wait, was it?
It was?
or not?
Or you
I
think
think
it
so. Yeah.
I don't think you can just say that now because
Now it has to be looked up.
I have a
mean, we can't-
gigantic story about that. If that's true,
Really?
well, my sister went to high school with the kid from Close Encounters.
Really?
Oh yeah, he was at our
Do you know
house.
his name?
Nah. I was away at college at that point, I guess. But like my sister,
What was his name in the movie?
He would have been young
Young Doc.
Doc.
Young Doc.
Keep talking, kids.
Young
Good for your
Doc. Why was Parker Stevenson happy?
I got
at
Little
the end?
Doc, Carrie Guffey,
Carrie Guffey. Carrie
born
sounds familiar.
1972.
He could have been 6 years old.
He's younger than us.
He's only been an actor in.
But he's much younger than my sister,
10
so
things:
that can't be
North and South, Poison Ivy, The Bear, Mutant, Chiefs, Stroke Race, Cross Creek, Everything Happens to Me, Close Encounters of the Third,
Get the fuck
Time.
out of here.
Barry Gaylor.
I don't know why I
It's
knew
his
that.
first thing.
Oh,
You're
the
pulling
first-
that shit out like the 11th hour?
I don't. That just popped into my
he was
head.
5. And
Wait, so what year
he
was
was
he
5 in
born?
Close Encounters.
What year was he born?
72.
Oh,
Close
okay.
Encounters
So
was
that,
77.
okay. I thought you were saying the year he was born was 77 because I was like, that doesn't make sense because my sister was 73.
72.
So, yeah, he was. Then that's definitely the guy that was at our house for parties and stuff like that.
How did all these people come out of West Windsor?
Very, very entertainment centric.
Oh, okay.
Heavy.
I mean, we had Ethan Hawke and we had the kid from Close Encounters and we had
That Panic at the Disco. Is that it? No. What's that band?
yeah. James Murphy is
LCD Sound System.
LCD Sound System.
That's
Yep.
And what was the big director?
Oh, Brian Singer and Chris McQuarrie.
And
Yes.
Pedophile.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
Whoa. Brian Singer, pedophile, not Chris McQuarrie.
That's what I said. Brian Singer. Yeah.
Well, I kept saying other names. I wanted to make it clear that.
I'll clarify. It was for Brian Singer. It was for Brian Singer. Then I had Kevin Johnson.
Hey, dude,
the
I
football
have a
player.
podcast. You're like poo-pooing all my accomplishments.
no, you came
you're
from.
part of it, yeah.
I'm part of
Yeah,
the
you're part of the.
You're in the West Windsor Hall of Fame.
Exactly.
Ooh, that can't be good.
You're right below Brian Singer.
Well, as long as I'm not on top. Oh wait, no, I want to be on top.
Oh man, I don't have any more notes.
You have
so if
Kevin
you guys have
Johnson
anything
and
else,
who else?
Kevin Johnson. That's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
Kevin Johnson lives in my town now. He was yours, now he's
and
mine.
he's got that sports medicine
Team
place
85.
right there.
Yeah. Oh, sponsor? Team 85. Sponsor us.
Sponsor us.
We're local.
Westwind sponsor us.
And we love Kevin Smith.
Kevin
we
Smith
love him
sponsor
too.
us.
I have a couple other notes.
Look at this guy pulling out the fucking
This
notes.
is great. He gets a new mic stand. He's got the Throne Max, and he's just going nuts.
So there's one scene where everyone is angry at Stroker and they're like doing things, but then there's a shot of a guy who just puts his ass at the camera and digs.
I got that, and he grabs his ass.
Yeah, digs his fingers into his ass.
What part's this? When's this happening?
It was in the stands. The guy was in the stands.
Oh, wow.
Read that. Right.
Crowd is booing Aubrey Jones, and guy in the stands is grabbing his own ass.
Oh, it's his own ass.
Yeah, it's
I
like his
thought you meant his-
fingers are going into his
like-
ass crack.
You could see his cheek. He was grabbing the whole cheek.
I missed that. I thought you meant he was grabbing
He had,
some
and
other
it was like
guy's
he was in
ass.
underwear.
Oh yeah, it's super short shorts.
It's so
like
weird.
Brady wears.
Well, there were a lot of super short shorts in this, especially in the crowd, because a lot of jean shorts and
jorts.
Confederate flags.
Yes. I also have when Stroker Ace and Lugs go screw second, and then there was like a boing sound, and the guy tilted his hat to the
yeah,
side.
yeah.
It was like what?
This is-
That's
Hell,
his, that
what's
was
that?
a rally cap back in the day.
Yeah.
Now we turn the hat all the way around, but at that point, you just turn it cockeyed.
And the trouble with the champagne glasses made me laugh.
Oh, he's like when he's trying to pull it.
Just it showced his idiocy.
He was trying to pull the champagne glass from the
Loni Anderson goes
in his room.
They
slide off.
He's yanking on them.
Loni Anderson's Virgin Teal act was wearing thin on me very quick. And why did they make fun of her voice? Like she just sounded like any other kind of like young girl. Like I didn't get why they were like, that's the way she sounds. That's the way she talks.
She always talks like that.
She had just finished WKRP in Cincinnati.
WKRP in Cincinnati.
Was that done by 83?
Nice.
I think so. I think 82 was the last year.
Oh, really? I thought that was like an 80s show, but I didn't watch it live. I watched that later.
Baby, if you ever wondered.
Once I found out that Gordon Jump was a rapist on Different Strokes,
then you wanted.
I had to watch
to 82.
Oh, okay. So it was over by then. So she needed another gig.
Oh yeah, I have another Burt Reynolds when Loni Anderson was passed out, and one of my favorite lines is, "I think it's important that you be here for this."
That is true. That was one of the first lines he said.
If she wasn't there for it, it wouldn't even be rape. So
that's true.
She'd be better off.
You got me drunk.
On a what?
I don't drink.
A sip of champagne.
I don't drink. That bubbly. Ooh. What did he say? He had to go to New Hampshire to get it.
Yes. For the fake champagne that had the label that said it was real champagne. She was a special kind of. I'm much more in favor of the girls that pretend to be stupid, like in Superman 3, but are actually smart. I like that much more. She was just actually stupid.
Do you want me to go first? Should I give scores now, or are we ready for that? Or
wow, man, I feel like we are.
You got a couple
of
things you wanted to play, maybe, or no?
No. I just have one more song.
Yeah, let's hear it. What do you got?
I thought it was.
What do you think? That's the band Andy would have seen if he didn't eat an edible before he went to the show with me.
I will have to remember when I'm listening to this next week that when Brian says I got one more thing, to turn the volume quickly down on my phone, because that was deafening.
I love that song, dude.
Is that could be that loud, man? That might be a problem.
You can bring it down, right?
I always adjust the volume.
Yeah.
Ooh, baby.
I may turn this one up a little more.
You like that song? You like that song, didn't you? That's a fun song.
It did grow on me.
Yeah.
Grew on you like a fungus?
Yes.
Like a rash?
So this isn't a great movie. I will admit that. It's cheaply done. I didn't get the total, how much they spent on it or whatever.
$17.
Some people might even call it Cartier of Caca. I like this movie for some of the stupid things that happen in it, some of the stupid quotes, some of the funny lines. The Burt Reynolds, I'm just a big fan of. I give it a 70. I know it's high, but I'm giving it a 70.
Do you want me to go next?
I can
Should
go.
we step down?
I think there's a big leap at one point, but I'll go.
Okay.
Michelle gave this a 15. She only watched the first hour.
She just doesn't count.
Yeah, she doesn't count. She didn't watch the exciting finale, so she's got. I gave this a 45. I will never watch this movie again. There are so many other good Burt Reynolds movies that I like. This was not it. The only times I laughed, I felt I was laughing at them, not with them. So
You were laughing with them. I guarantee you were.
I think if I had a choice between Superman 3 and Stroker Ace, I'd watch Superman 3 again. And that's
over
saying
Loni
something.
Anderson's boobs? No way.
Yeah, no.
I'll take the blonde chick's boobs in that other movie. What was her name? Lana Lang or whatever her name?
Lorelai.
Lorelai, yeah.
Annette O'Toole? She doesn't have breasts.
I'm closer to Jason on this one.
Wow, man, I'm shocked. I was watching this movie going like, Brian definitely hates this movie. I'm pre-shocking.
I can't say I would never watch it again.
Because we're going to watch it together.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I can't say.
Brian,
really?
We're going to watch this together sometime.
We've watched so many good movies that you have like, I'll never watch this movie again. You're watching this movie again?
There was something. Burt Reynolds really grew on me as I'm watching this.
That's awesome.
No,
that's the power of Burt.
I end this podcast now. This podcast ends tonight.
He didn't even give a score yet.
I'm giving it a 65.
Oh my God, Brian! You know how many
That's
movies you
good
gave
for
like
him,
60s?
That's
You gave
good for
fucking
him.
you gave like The Thing and Creepshow 60s. You're giving this movie a 65?
I like this movie.
Oh my God.
It's a fun movie.
Everybody get the fuck out of my house.
But that's the problem right here. It's not Andy's podcast. It's our podcast. We get to share our scores too.
Exactly.
I rescind that now, and it's from now on my. If I don't like your scores,
You know
you're
what?
out. You're out.
You know what? Put more Stroke Race Ween through that whole
I
episode for
should.
Andy to listen
That's
to.
Hold on.
fine.
I'm
I'm
going to
down
turn
with
up
Ween.
the volume all
Ween
the
was
way.
the best thing about this podcast, except all my brilliant.
Charlie Daniels was
expose.
there too. Don't forget.
Yeah, I'm not a anti Charlie
Chuck
Daniels.
Daniels. I know.
He's
that's
got
not
that one song that everybody knows.
you. Critics gave it a 19.
Oh,
Audience gave it a 51.
okay.
Damn. Critics gave it a 19. I didn't think
Come
it-
on. What do critics like about this?
Critics don't like any comedies really. Most
true.
comedies are unless they think it's a smart comedy, like new hip kind of thing.
Yeah.
They're gonna-
I
they're
actually
gonna-
was doing a little research this morning.
Wow.
Yeah, and I just want to bring this up right now. I hope it doesn't take too long to get to the part where I want to talk about the thing that I want to talk about.
Brian will stream this right back together. Whoop.
Yeah, I'll shrink it.
Roger Ebert gave this movie a
Thumb.
he gave it one thumb. Damn it. I had it too and I fucking lost it. A 1.5 star at a
What'd you do,
1.5 out of 4.
A 4? Okay.
To call this movie lightweight, bubble-headed summer entertainment is not a criticism, but simply a description. Gene Siskel gave the film 0 stars out of 4, writing, Reynolds' reputation as a serious actor is virtually destroyed with this miserable picture. He's sending only one message here. Fans, I'm in it for the money. What other explanation is possible?
Of course, I would have been in it for the money too. You would have
Serious?
you'd make that movie for that money.
I would have done Terms of Endearment instead. And I've never seen that. I've never seen Terms
It's
of
a 37%. by the
Terms
way.
of Endearment
No,
is?
1.5 stars is 37%.
What's a 0 though? A 0 is a 0, I think.
We
0%.
should do how what did I say that we should do how it holds up? Like, do you think millennials how they would feel about this, or Gen
Now, this movie
Zers?
wouldn't hold up.
No
Yeah,
way. I
they
don't
would-
think any of these. I
they
don't
would
think,
hate
but
it.
I don't think Cannibal Run or Smokey and the Bandit would have held up either.
Yeah, that's
See,
true.
But this
now
would have very much.
That's
not
why we
held
need
up.
the younger perspective on here for that kind of question. When we
Yeah.
have them on,
Well,
that's a
listen,
good question for when
my
we have,
son
like,
just came back
like a
from
Brady
college. I
and stuff.
said, now that you're living in my house, you got to do a podcast. Maybe I have to
Did he
force
pick a
him.
movie yet or no?
Oh, I'm saying I might have to force him to be on the podcast every week, so he could be
yeah, there you
like,
go.
oh,
He's got to watch the movie and then come in and give an answer that does this movie hold up?
I mean, I'd
for
much
your
rather him get a
generation?
job in the field that he graduated from college with.
But if
But
this picks up,
in lieu of that,
How
if he
has
wants to
that-
watch a movie,
How's that ever happened to anybody?
it's never happened in the history of ever. No one's ever
West
gotten a
Windsor?
job in their fucking field.
it's happened in West Windsor.
Those people didn't even go to college. Well, maybe they
Ethan Hawke was already famous.
Yeah, he was famous at like 15.
A lot of people go to college for 8 years. They're called doctors. David Spade, ladies and gentlemen.
That's a good one.
Is that Tommy Boy?
Yeah,
Tommy
Tommy
boy.
Boy. Yeah.
Tommy boy.
Okay, so
that stands up to the test of time, and
That
that's
does.
20
check
years
with
old.
your
at
buddy.
least
You
now.
don't know if your buddy's in for next week yet.
He should be.
All right, so next week we're doing War Games, people.
Now that I already know in advance, I love that movie. And I haven't seen that in a long, long time, but I remember even back in the day watching it multiple times and being like,
Oh yeah.
"This is a great movie."
See if it's streaming real quick.
Yes, for all
I
you people
think
out there that watch the
I
movies
think
along
it
with
is.
us,
It was
it's
at one point.
on Amazon, Netflix, Paramount.
Futo.
Oh, that's the Japanese
Good old Futo.
Netflix.
Now
Futo.
it's on Showtime, but I have
Showtime with
Showtime
Hulu.
on Hulu, so
I
I,
have
should
that
have
also.
it then, right?
Oh yeah, I have that now.
Let me
too.
look if I go on my Hulu and see if it's on. Keep talking.
Just keep talking about War Games next week. That's gonna be a great movie. That's one of my. That's one of those computer movies where Matthew Broderick does everything with like line 10, go to 20,
Yeah, we have it. It's on Hulu.
Oh cool.
and somehow taps into the nuclear power or nuclear codes of the United States government.
He dials in.
He dials in.
He
He had the dial-up modem.
That's right.
I remember when I got a dial-up modem like 10 years later being like, this is the thing from War Games.
Exactly. Except you plugged it directly into the computer.
Hour and 54 minutes. So time your day.
Oh my God.
Wow,
that's a little too long. The best thing about Stroke Race was like an hour and 29 minutes or something like that.
Yeah.
Hour 36. Yep. But Spreaker is where you can find our podcast and everything else you could get on our socials. It's exciting, a new podcast everywhere. You can also reach out to our personal socials. It's the Jazoo over there on the Instagram, Jazoo74 on the Twitter. It's been the exciting and new podcast. Brian calls me Jason.
I do.
I'm AE Gonzo1 on Twitter, AE Gonzo1970 on Instagram. Brian calls me Dickhead.
I do. And I'm Brian, Papa Bad Kitty.
Brian calls him Papa Bad Kitty.
I do.
No one's ever called him that in the history of ever.